Yeah, so I just wanted to continue this on from what I was saying. So to give some context, because I know that a lot of people keep asking, why don't you share your story? Why don't you share your story? So I think sometimes the easiest place to start is where you're at and maybe work your way back. I don't want to revisit all of that stuff. I've done a lot of internal work to process emotions and feelings and traumas and to accept that they happened and I can't change them and I don't have any hate or ill will towards anybody because I choose love and I choose me and I have agreed to surrender everything to God, which is you know is in your in one of the steps. I've just done that. I'm finished my second step now. So, the first one is accepting your life had become unmanageable. Well, I think that goes without saying that my life had become unmanageable. As I said, I was in prison. Nobody was talking to me. My daughters didn't. One of them were, and I love her for that. Um, because we all need that connection. We can survive without connection. Everybody can survive on their own. I mean, that is the truth. But we need connection to others in order for us to thrive. And you can find that in different places. That doesn't mean that you need people around you all the time. It just means you need to be having the right conversations and conversations that are going to light up your spirit and your soul, that are not going to fucking drain you and keep you in that negative energy. Because if I've learned anything through this process as well, I've learned a lot about energy and vibration and how people say, well, there's nothing you can change. You can't change anything. You're just one person. But I think that people need to understand that if one person changes their energy, their outlook, their perspective, and their vibration, and start living in, let go of resentment, let go of envy, let go of all that fucking shit. Because I don't know if people understand that when you're projecting this stuff out onto people, it's actually affecting you and it affects every aspect of your life. Um, so I feel I've learned that I've always been a pure positive person. I've just always been like this. I've always been able to get up after everything that hits me and knocks me down. Every single time something awful happens to me, somehow I figure it out and I get up and I try again. But what this process taught me, what I learned over throughout this relapse and the system doors being closed, if you like, what that really taught me was that the power that every single one of us have in us, everyone has it, everybody has it, to figure it out and make your own way. And what it taught me was that I remember sitting here, when I was on my own and I come home from prison, and my head was like fucking all over the place. And I learned a lot about that as well, and I will share that. I learned a lot about your psyche and self-taught, actually. Well, I done psychology in college, so I have a 2-year diploma in psychology, so I had a little bit of an understanding of what was going on, but I had no one to bounce it off, no one to really talk to about it. So I remember I'd be here, and people often say this to me, my young one used to say to me a lot, what are you talking to yourself for? Because I'd be having a full-blown conversation with myself. And it's very easy to label somebody as crazy when they do that. I'm definitely not crazy. The reason I find I would do stuff like that is because if you think about it, if you really give it a bit of thought, who knows you better than you? And I process things maybe a little bit different to people, but I find if I have an issue, whether it's with a person or whether it's in my own life, having a loud conversation with myself and speaking about the potential scenarios that might happen helps me to get grounded and to address that right. And I've always did that. I mean, my used to actually do that. So I think that we need to drop this labeling people. Oh, they're talking about God. They must be crazy, or they're in a cult, or they're talking to themselves. They must be mad, or this person doesn't do things like anybody else, so they must have autism, or I think she's bipolar. Like, we need to stop doing that. Everybody is different. Every single person on this planet is different, and unfortunately, we've been led to believe that we should all be the same. And even in school, this is, a thing. If a child presents as different, or maybe they don't do things the way other people do, or maybe they don't connect or communicate with their peers the way other people do. So everyone is so quick to go, God, why are they not doing that? There must be something wrong with them. No, they're being their real self. That's who they are. Let them be who they are. We need to stop pushing societal norms on people. Oh, he's not walking by the time that he's 1. Maybe there's something wrong with him. Or he's not talking and he's 2. And Joey down the road can say everything. This is what's wrong with society. We need to stop comparing children and ourselves to everybody else because we're not doing what everybody else is doing. Because that's not what you were designed to do. You were conditioned to believe that's what you're supposed to do. But that is not what you're supposed to be doing. You need to embrace your true self. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what people are going to think. People are going to talk about you anyway. Fuck them. Do something different. Try something new. Go with what, and sometimes we don't know who we are because we have repressed who we really are so fucking much. And when you wake up to the reality that you're just going to be yourself, you get angry because you start to see how silenced and how blocked you have been, whether it's intentional or unintentional. It has happened and is happening. So I just feel like this time of being on my own. So last year, as I said, I came out of jail and came back to my house, and I was filled with fear and doubt and worry and illusion, and my mind was so full of downloads, is what I'm going to call it. And I people were saying to me, oh, it's just the head, it's the head, but I go deeper than that. I like to understand why this is happening and what's going on. And I had a bit of a revelation. I feel like when you remove substances from your body, what happens to you is, your subconscious mind is so much more, absorbs more information than you can even imagine. Your subconscious mind picks, you're like a fucking walking AI. If our mind was completely switched on, that's their potential. So I started to realise and understand that I had buried a lot of stuff, and I had picked up on a lot of things maybe during my life, and particularly during my childhood, that I would not have been aware were even there. So when I was getting these downloads, I was trying to rationalise them with my conscious mind. Okay, well, what's happening around me? Maybe it's that. And I started to fucking realise that I was tapping into my subconscious mind. So when our subconscious mind comes back online, obviously your whole mind was back online when you remove the substances, but you'll get mixed. Your subconscious is trying to wake up. It's trying to wake up your conscious mind. You're trying to fucking spiritually awaken. But everyone will start telling you you're crazy and that you're suffering from psychosis. And in some cases, I'm not saying you wouldn't. But if you think about some of the traumas that people have gone through, some of their suppressed memories become very, very real. And it's about understanding how to calm the mind. And meditation is huge in that. And they do tell you this in the book, and they do tell you this in treatment. But to understand it in this kind of language, to be able to communicate to somebody what you feel is happening is a big help. And I think that was part of my discovery, and it has definitely helped me to rationalize what's going on in my world. Does that mean that I don't still pick up on things? Of course I do, but it means that I can now kind of understand and choose, okay, that might be a threat, that might not be. So I think when your unconscious mind starts coming back online, you get filled with fear, because memories trigger emotions, so you might be remembering something you're not even consciously aware you're remembering, and all of a sudden you're filled with fear and you don't know why. And this is I'm going to run out of time again. I really would love to pick up on this again, and because I really do feel like what I've kind of discovered, or what has been revealed to me, will absolutely be able to help a lot of people. So let me know in the comments if you want to hear more about this, and I hope you've listened this far. Thanks very much.